Good morning, kiddos. I'm going to be reading to you from our book about Bat again today, and and then I'll be reading out of the book about Molly as well. So let's get started on Bat. So we're in chapter 11. And if you remember, Bat was very upset because he wanted to put together the cage for the skunk kit, but there were parts missing, and he got very upset, and Mom had to use some calming techniques and then send him to bath time. After bath time, Bat pulled on his pajamas and went into the kitchen, where he found Mom and Janie together at the table having breakfast for dinner, which they sometimes did when there hadn't been enough time to fix a bigger meal. Oh, we love to do breakfast for dinner. Do you guys ever do that? Banana pancakes, for sure. Janie was having fried eggs, and Mom was spooning out 2 platefuls of scrambled, one for Bat and one for herself. Bat did not like runny eggs. He didn't even like it when other people ate runny eggs, because then he had to witness it. But Janie liked to dip buttered toast into the little pool of yellow yolk. And she was Bat's sister, so sometimes witnessing such things was unavoidable. The bath had helped Bat feel calmer. Still warm from sitting in the steaming water, he drifted to his seat at the table and decided that Janie's disgusting eggs were something he could overlook tonight. "We have a week and a half to memorize our lines," Janie said to Mom, diving the edge of her triangle-cut toast into the yolk stream. "By Tuesday after next, the director wants the whole rehearsal to run without any scripts." Bat piled a forkful of scrambled eggs onto his toast. "How do you guys know where to stand and stuff?" he asked. "That's called blocking," Janie said enthusiastically. "We have to write it all down on our scripts. When to come on stage, and which side we come from, and where to go, and when we sit down and stand up, or whatever." "That sounds like a lot to remember," Bat said. "Oh, it is," Janie said. "But that's all right. I'm good at it. You probably would be too at that part, Bat. You're good at remembering things." Bat finished his scrambled eggs and imagined himself on stage, surrounded by other kids, acting out the words from a script. He didn't really know how it all worked, so the things he imagined were fuzzy and vague. Vague means he wasn't quite sure about them. But they still made him feel a little nervous. "I could probably memorize the stuff," he said, "but I wouldn't want to be on stage with all those people watching." "I love it," Janie said. "I was born for the spotlight." A bright light shining right on him while rows of people sat and stared, that sounded like some kind of punishment to Bat. "There's room in a theater for the performers and the audience," Mom said. "A show isn't a show without both. Bat and I will be your audience, won't we, Bat?" Bat nodded yes. "But tonight," Mom said, clearing away the plates and stacking them in the sink, "what did the 2 of you say about a game of banana fish?" They both said yes to banana fish, which was a game Janie had made up when Bat was little. Well, Bat had thought that she had made it up. When he was older, he found out that the game she called banana fish was the game most everybody else called war. The only difference was that instead of saying war when 2 people flipped over matching cards, you were supposed to call out banana fish. You could play with 2 or 3 or even 4 people, which was perfect for their family. Janie shuffled the cards and dealt them out into 3 equal stacks, while Bat loaded the dishwasher and Mom heated up some milk and cocoa in a red saucepan, pouring it into 3 mugs when it was just the right temperature. They settled into a comfortable silence and began flipping over cards, whoever had the highest card taking all 3. After 4 rounds, the first match turned up. Janie and Bat each flipped over 7. "Banana fish," they yelled, and then dealt 3 cards face down, waited a moment, and then flipped a 4th card face up. Janie was a 6, Bat was a queen. "Banana fish," he called again, this time in triumph. "Good one, Bat," Janie said nicely, and he smiled. "Thanks," he said, and then even though he knew the answer, he asked, "Janie, why did you call this game banana fish?" He liked to hear the story every time they played. Because when you were little, it was hard to get you to play new games with me. You only liked to do things you already knew how to do. And I begged and begged for you to let me teach you how to play war. But you always said no. And then one day I asked if you wanted to learn how to play a game called Banana Fish because banana and fish were two of your favorite words. Even though I didn't like banana flavored yogurt, Bat added happily. And you said yes to playing Banana Fish, even though it was the exact same game you'd been saying no to. It's important to know your audience, Mom said. All three of them flipped over another card. Mom's Jack was higher than Janie's 9 and Bat's 4, so she took all three. So I hope during this time at home that you guys are playing some games together and having some fun activities and some bonding time. And I think it's funny because we've talked about this before in class, we'll say no to something before we even try it. And it's important to try new things and to step out of your comfort zone. And I will tell you, being stuck at home definitely has a lot of us stepping out of our comfort zone, which means we're trying new things that we've never tried before, doing new things we've never done before. And for me, teaching virtually is definitely one of those things. Bat didn't remember the day that Janie taught him Banana Fish, but he thought Janie had been pretty smart for getting him to play her game after all. Since I wanted to play after you named it the game Banana Fish, maybe I didn't want to play because it was called war. That's a word I don't like. I agree, Mom said. That makes 3, Janie said. Banana fish are definitely better than war. Banana fish are better than war, and being together cozy in their kitchen was better than being apart. Chapter 12, A Perfect Night. Friday after school, Bat climbed into Dad's little sports car, sliding over to behind the driver's seat since there was no seat belt in the middle. Dad was whistling, something Bat liked and something that sort of amazed him. No matter how hard he tried, Bat couldn't arrange his lips in a proper whistling position. "How was your week, Sport?" Dad asked as he pulled out of the school parking lot. "It was okay," Bat said. "Not great. Thursday's after-school visit to Israel's house, when Bat had hoped they would research possible vegetables for their skunk kit garden, had instead been spent sitting on the couch while Israel played his new video game and practically ignored him. And though they had finally gotten the pen built, and though Mom had agreed to let Bat keep it in his room, Bat felt terribly irritated about the fact that this was an every other weekend. Even worse, this would be his first every other weekend without Janie because she had rehearsal today and tomorrow and a sleepover with a castmate on Saturday night. "I've got a surprise for you," Dad said. "Is it that you've decided to let Thor spend the weekend with me at your apartment?" "No," said Dad. "It's baseball tickets." Bat slumped in his seat, defeated. Baseball tickets. It was like Dad was trying to punish him for something. So clearly Bat does not like baseball. I love baseball games, and I think today was supposed to be opening day for baseball, and it makes me very sad. So hopefully we'll all be able to get out and get to those baseball games soon. There was almost nothing good about baseball games, but Bat could nearly make a game out of listing all the things that were bad about baseball. The lines to park cars, lines to get through the entry gate, lines to use the bathroom, lines to buy snacks and drinks, lines to get to your seats. Bat hated waiting in lines. He hated it so much. The crowds. Even when you weren't waiting in line, you were still surrounded by people. Too many bodies squished together into too small of a space. The smell of the bodies. People said skunks smell bad. That wasn't even true. Skunks only smelled bad when they sprayed. Some people at the baseball games seemed to smell all the time. The lights. All those bright white fluorescent bulbs flooding the field in their artificial glare, making Bat's eyes feel twitchy. The noise. Oh, the noise. People shouting at the peanut guy, people laughing loudly to each other and calling out to their friends, the announcers over the loudspeakers booming out information that seemed to Bat to be totally unnecessary, the music, the crowds bursting into cheers when the batter scored. Bat loved his dad, he really did, but when his dad made him do something like this, like going to a baseball game, something he really didn't want to do, Bat wondered if his dad understood him at all. Because if his dad really understood him, then he would understand that an event like a baseball game was just about the worst way Bat could imagine spending a Saturday night. So some people just don't like things like that. And I guess there's probably some of you who have things that you just don't like doing. They're too much for you. Big crowds or loud noises or just certain environments. And I think we're all like that. We've got good seats, Sport, Dad said, dragging Bat down the aisle and pushing enthusiastically through the crowd. Excuse us, pardon us, he said. The seats didn't look good to Bat. They were too close to the field, which meant that there was a higher chance that a stray baseball could hit him in the face. What do you think? Dad asked after they were seated onto the uncomfortable blue plastic folding chairs. Can we go home? Bat asked. Don't be silly, Dad said. They're just taking batting practice. The game hasn't even started yet. Bat didn't want the game to start. He wanted the game to be canceled. But in all the years Dad had been making Bat go to the baseball games, only one of them had been canceled, and that was on account of rain. Bat looked up into the cloudless, clear sky. The horizon was melting into pink and orange as the sun slipped away for the night. It was a beautiful, perfect evening. Bat sighed and shook his head. It was going to be a long night. So that's our 2 chapters for today of our Bat book. And my next video will be readings from our book about Molly. Love you guys. Have a good day.